Well, welcome to the Silver Eye Sports, amateur sports show. This is our first episode and brought to you by Blue Chip Training Center. I'm your host, Scott Taves of Silver Eye Sports, and you're going to have to bear with me a bit here. This is episode 1, so I'm going to be looking at my paper a lot. So my cheat notes, just like in school. Yes, this is our maiden voyage, our first episode of Walker Talkin', and my first guest today is Michael Hunt. Of the, let me know if this is right, Central Canadian Roller Hockey?
That's it, CCRH, Central Canadian Roller Hockey. Yep,
perfect.
Absolutely.
And your website is ccrh.ca?
Yep.
Perfect. I want to make sure.
And we're upgrading that, so don't mind how it looks now. It's the cheap Wix one right now, what we're working on.
No, hey, I checked it out. A lot of good information on there.
Yep.
We're going to talk roller hockey, obviously. I mean, it's February. Most of our minds are on ice hockey, but it's never too soon to start thinking about what you're going to be doing this summer. So, Mike, tell us a little bit about yourself. I understand you have an extensive history with roller hockey, particularly Team Canada roller hockey.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And a lot of experience on the international level.
Yes.
So tell us about yourself.
Well, you know, I'm 48 years old. I'm from Manitoba. Lived here most of my life. Was fortunate enough to move to Boston, Massachusetts, where I ended up learning the game. I was introduced to the game right around 1995-96. And fell in love with it immediately when I saw it, and tried to figure out how to become a better player. And I wasn't very good when I started. I think myself and Glenn had this conversation. You try to bring all those skills that you've brought from the ice, and technology back then, as when you played, as you mentioned you played, is not the same as it is now. So stopping and turning and cutting and all these different things weren't as they are now. So it was a little bit of a transition for me. But it was. I have 20 years in the game. I worked for a manufacturer that made wheels. And that was sort of my into the sport. And one of the things that we did as a marketing tool for our product was put together a pro team. And a lot of the pro team that we had, we won 7 national championships. We never lost a game in the 7 championships. We went 40-7-0-1. It was an amazing kick off to what we wanted to do. And I was fortunate enough in Boston to own a facility to run roller hockey. So we started with 0 kids, and then we had about 300. And from that, it was a great. Once kids get on the rink and they try it, they really fall in love with the game. But for me, from the pro division, the pro level roller hockey in the States, I was fortunate enough to try out for Team Canada in 2002, where I got cut. And the boys went on to win the World Championships in Rochester, New York, and the following year I made the team. So I played for Canada for 7 years. I currently play for Team Canada on the over 37 and over 45 Masters team, and I'm also the head coach of the World Junior team and the assistant coach of the senior women. And the women, we won the World Championships this year. So been a long road, and now we're back in. I know you want to condense it, right?
That's a lot of Team Canada representation.
Yeah, I've been very fortunate. You know, I say this with all honesty, and all the guys that played with me know I was happy to be a part of that team, whether it was carrying the water or getting ice for a guy. I mean, I was always a 3rd or 4th line guy. I mean, we had a lot of American Hockey League guys and guys that were drafted that played for the Canadian team, and then there was Mike. And not that I wasn't a good hockey player.
Well, that's a good segue. Tell us a bit about your what's your ice hockey experience? What was your highest level of ice hockey?
Well, I cut my teeth in Manitoba. Like I lived in Hamilton when I was younger, and then we moved here, and I played AAA St. James Canadians, all the way up until 13 or 14, and then coach conflicts with parents. I guess that's why I'm a good coach now, because I learned all those things on what to do or whatever. Yeah, exactly, so I was sort of the victim of coaches not wanting to deal with parents, so I was not making these top teams anymore. And my highest ice hockey, I walked on to the Junior Canucks in '85 as just a walk-on, and I made the team. I had a really good season, and then after a year, I just kind of fell out of love with the game, and I actually stopped playing hockey altogether from the age of 19 to 25.
No.
And then when I moved to Boston, 6 years. So there's 6 years where I didn't even pick up a hockey stick. And I met a buddy in Boston who was playing this game called deck hockey, which is ball hockey in Canada, right? So we're playing ball hockey, and every night, and then we would, right after we're done, these guys would come on the rink and play roller hockey, and I was intrigued by the game because it was cool. There was no icing, no offsides. 4 guys on 4, so it was a free-flowing, creative game. And I wasn't a big fan of body checking. I didn't like getting hit, and always afraid of getting hurt or hurting somebody on a big check, back in the day. I was never really big as a kid either, so maybe that was part of it. But yeah, we went from there, and then, like I said on the Canadian part, never a top 1 or 2 line, but as you play with these guys, you get better and better. Like I always say, when you're playing with pro guys that get paid money to play hockey, and you're practicing with them every day, and you're working with them and listening to them talk, it is amazing how much better you as a player become.
Absolutely, and I think that holds true. Sorry, just to quickly step in, if you don't mind. I think that holds true with a lot of sports. And it's sometimes some of the problems with. I know we're getting a little bit off topic, maybe, but is that when you've got your elite programs, it takes them away from some of their community programs.
Right.
These kids don't get to play as much with their skilled players. And when you've got a situation with roller hockey where you're not as in demand. Sorry, you're not as in demand. I'm trying to articulate this properly. Right. Where you're not running multiple tiered programs, so to speak. Correct, right? It's like you're looking for players, whether there's, like you said, your top line and your bottom line is a bit of a skill disparity, but because you get to play with such gifted and talented players, right, you yourself become a better player.
Well, and it's great here for what's going to happen in Winnipeg, and obviously, Pembina Valley and Eastman, and the programs we're introducing, at the highest level, and we're places where these programs are, developed, and they are active with a great number of players. Edmonton's got 3,000 players in the program. Vancouver's got 1,500. Ontario, whatever the number, it's big numbers. But then you go to California, and there's like 6,000, 8,000 kids playing. Then you get into the tiers, and you got the AAA and your AA, or your travel teams and your rep teams. But when you're starting here, we're looking for players. You're looking for players, yeah. And what we will also do is we will make sure that if a AAA player and an A player, we'll let them play together. But if there's a real big disparity there, we will then move up or down so they can get playing with the same skill players, growing together. A's can grow to get AA, AA's can grow to be AAA's, and then we also have a mentoring program where the older kids come back and they help mentor the younger kids in our programs. Well, I think they should be doing that in ice hockey anyways.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, we have our 14s and 15s and 16s come out and help with our 8s, 10s, and 12s, and it's just something I believe in. I think that little kids need to have. It's amazing how many people don't understand that a 10-year-old has a hero, or is a hero of an 8-year-old, or a 13-year-old is a hero of a 9-year-old.
Yeah.
They don't ever understand it, and parents don't get it. But that 9-year-old's looking up at older brother or teammate that's doing amazing things, and they're just starstruck.
Absolutely.
Right. So we try to bring a lot of that back in our programs to the roller hockey of giving back and helping build a program as well.
And that's a great way to do it. Your passion is, that's kind of my next question for you here is, you've got this passion for it, and it's for such a hockey mad country that Canada is, and Manitoba, and being from the prairies.
Yep.
I mean, I can't even count how many games of hockey I've played in my life.
Yeah, me too.
But it's surprising that roller hockey's not more popular.
Well,
as a result.
Yeah, and there's a very simple and very easy, answer for that, and it's facilities. We don't have year-round facilities. It's a niche in people's minds. 3 months. See, here's part of the problem with roller hockey. People don't understand what it is. So I can put advertisements in magazines, and I can talk to you about it face to face. Okay, but when you come to the MTS Iceplex, or you come here, and I pick up an actual roller hockey skate, and you can smell it, touch it, feel it, pucks flying out, and you're like, you know what? Oh, did you buy the ice boot, and did you have to put the chassis on? No, this is a one-piece unit of Labeta Wheels, which is our corporate sponsor, and Tour, which is our corporate sponsor for our roller hockey programs. They make one. This is a skate that they make, and this is their high-end skate. But they also make levels all the way down. Like this skate's about $700, $800, but they make a $60 skate and a $100 skate, so it doesn't get priced out, right? And so as you as a dad or a mom or a player can come over and say, okay, roller hockey, and it's like, oh, well, this is the puck. Oh, so this is a skate and this is a puck. Oh, I didn't know it was like that. I can't tell you how many times I hear that. It's like
they just think it's glorified street hockey.
They think the guys in shorts, they're playing with a tennis ball and they're skating around a tennis court, and they have no idea that the IIHF has world championships, FIRS has world championships. Team Canada this year is sending an 8 and under, a 10 and under, a 12, 14, 16, all the way up to Huntington Beach to play in the Junior Olympics. This past summer we sent 8 teams, I believe 8 or 10 teams to Hawaii. And we had 6 Manitoba players playing on those. A 12-year-old from Stony Mountain, a 14-year-old from Warren made Team Canada. We went to their school assembly, the entire kids were there, presented them the jersey, welcomed them to the team, and they were rock stars.
Absolutely.
And every hockey player in the building's like, what are these guys talking about? What is this?
I want to play for Team Canada too.
I want you to. You're a goalie. We need goalies. The goalies that are listening to this will get mad at me. Shut up, I don't anymore. But
no, that's every kid's dream in Canada. If you ever put on a pair of skates and you want to play for Team Canada, you want to play at the highest level you possibly can. And it's just too hard at the ice hockey level. But it sounds like this affords you opportunities that just based on numbers alone, right?
Yeah, just numbers alone. Like if you go through and you say to yourself and you say, okay, listen, I don't care how great of an ice hockey player. We know the numbers. I mean, we know the numbers of the amount of ice hockey players. And listen, I'm not trying to dissuade anybody from going from ice hockey and leaving ice hockey to play roller. I want them to play ice hockey for the rest of their lives. I want them to also play roller hockey. Where, for me, the opportunity in roller hockey is, like, for me, if someone had said to me when I was 19 years old, 20 years old, that I was going to get an opportunity to play for Team Canada in the IIHF World Championships, I'd have told you you're crazy. And I played on that team, coached the team 38, and played on the team. My last year was 41 years old on the men's national team. Where else can you do that? I'll give you a story. Brandon Peary, who plays for the New York Rangers.
Yes.
Okay. Will never, I shouldn't say will never ever, but the chances are that he will never ever play for the Canadian national men's team with the amount of players that are there now. There's a lot of guys that play in the NHL, the greatest players on the earth, but there's 20 guys, 22 guys that get to play for Team Canada out of the 500 that play in the NHL.
Exactly.
There's guys that, Chris Terry, for example, who plays for the Montreal Canadiens, plays for the Canadian national team. He wasn't there last year, but he was there the year before. So Pat Maroon was on the American national team.
Yeah, you mentioned
back in the day.
There's a number of NHL players that really attribute roller hockey to their on-ice success, right?
Yeah, well, Pat Maroon is my best example. He's a good friend of mine, and he's been very good to the sport. And if you watched After Hours on Hockey Night in Canada this past Saturday, again, every time they interview Pat Maroon, they bring up roller hockey because that was how, he was a great ice hockey player, but he's 6'5", 220, 230 pounds. Where does a guy get hands like that? Like, roller hockey forces players to learn how to handle the puck because it's the best way to describe roller hockey for the people out there that may not understand it, with 4-on-4, no icing, no offsides. When you watch NHL overtime, that is roller hockey. They never give the puck up. If you watch NHL overtime, it's a different game than what they're playing, the 3-on-3. They don't give the puck up. Yeah. They don't take bad angled shots. And if they don't have anything, they fire it all the way back and they regroup and they come out. Because as soon as they don't have the puck, they're at a disadvantage. And a lot of people will say, well, Mike, 4-on-4, no icing, no offsides. Won't that create floating, this, that, and the other? You still have to defend it. Like, you still have to defend. You could send the guy all the way down, but you got to defend the guy. And it also opens up, as we were talking about earlier, the rink awareness. You always have to have your head on a swivel and understanding you can't let your guy go. Defensive schemes, offensive schemes. You'd be surprised about it. Some of the world championships, games are 3-2, 2-1, 3-1. Not very often are there 16-15 like a lot of people think at the highest level.
And you look at the new metrics that have really come to ice hockey in the last few years. It's become more possession.
Yes.
It's become more of a possession game than it's ever become.
Yeah.
You've got some teams like the LA Kings, even the Jets are one of the few teams, or the St. Louis Blues, that are dump and chase teams.
Yep.
That just almost doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah.
It's always about puck possession, which really brings us back to the 1972 Russian team that was about puck possession.
Well, exactly.
It hasn't changed that much, but it's become more and more common to be more concerned about possessing the puck than getting rid of the puck. And in roller hockey, like you said, it's like a 3-on-3 game, 3-on-3 NHL overtime. It's about puck possession, and those skills they have to translate.
That's all they do is translate
effectively to winter.
And you ask all the NHL guys that play, and I could sit here and rattle them off. Everybody, I implore you to Google NHL hockey players that play roller hockey. You could run down the list from Pat Maroon, Bobby Ryan, Chris Terry, Ales Hemsky, Henrik Lundqvist, the Sedins. They did a bio on Connor McDavid, and he's got 3 pairs of roller hockey blades hanging in his garage. And his dad, all he did was skate around on the rollerblades. They help you with puck control. They help you with stick handling. It begs for players to be creative. You don't have coaches yelling at kids because they're holding on to the puck too long. In high ice hockey, it's get the puck and as fast as I can, get rid of it. Chip and chase, go down, hit, one guy takes the body, second guy takes the puck, cycle down low, etc., etc. That's ice hockey. It's a great game. It's a game I love. But roller hockey, I'm telling you, you play the game of roller hockey, you will absolutely fall in love with the game. I know I did. It is my favorite game. My son, all the people who play roller hockey, and it's bad to say, but if they could play it year-round, which we're trying to do, that's all they would play. Now, we're not advocating anybody quits ice hockey.
Well, no.
We want everybody to play ice hockey, but roller hockey can be an amazing sport for your skill set to bring to the ice hockey arena. You know, it's not uncommon for a player to come play roller hockey and then go back to his ice hockey area and go up one level. It's almost guaranteed in almost every single case because they're touching the puck more, they have more confidence, their defensive awareness is even greater because now they take that to the ice rink and now they're more defensively aware. So, I mean, I tell everybody, try it one time. If you don't like it, and I've probably coached about 3,000, 4,000 kids in my 20 years of doing this, I've never had one kid come to me and say, and not even come up to me and say, it's okay, I liked it, but. Never one, not one. Never. As a matter of fact, you literally have to turn the lights off on them to get them off the rink.
Well, I personally have very limited roller hockey experience. About 20 years ago, I used to run just a pickup game at our local rink at the Mitchell Arena, and we did it for about 4 or 5 summers in a row. And nobody complained about it. It's just one of those things that just kind of died off. I don't know if it was because we're getting older and jobs are becoming more demanding. Who knows? I can think of a million other excuses.
Well, it's like all of us. We get a little older and things, you know. But what we're trying to do is, like, my son's 21. He plays in the Canadian program. I don't have to. I do this for him because I want him eventually one day to take over this and be, run it because he's got as much of a passion as I do. But for all the right reasons, you can play spring hockey. And I told you, I ran a spring hockey program. And by the time we were doing the 4 tournaments out of town, and we had our 10 practices, and you got all the swag with the sweatpants and the tracksuit and the hat and the shorts, hoodies. My parents were spending about $6,000 for one kid. Now, if they've got 2 or 3, you can do the math. It's not hard to do the math. Roller hockey.
It's an expensive tracksuit.
Yeah, it's expensive tracksuit, right? Roller hockey is at the most $400 for 20 games, and you don't have the high cost of traveling. You don't have the high cost of equipment because you can use your ice hockey equipment. You have to buy a pair of skates and wheels. And the great thing is when they grow out of them, our program is a buyback program. We'll buy those skates back and we'll put your son or daughter into another pair. So for all the right reasons, there's no hitting, it's cost effective, and it's a great game that will help you as a standalone roller player, or it will help you bring those skills from the roller to the ice and get you off the ice for the 12-month cycle. Get off the ice and try something for 3-4 months.
That sounds, well, I'm sold.
Yeah, I'm glad.
I'm sold.
I'm glad.
Well, I got 2 more things I want to cover with you.
Sure.
Moving forward here. One of them that's really kind of got my interest here is the talk of a high school league.
Oh,
expand on that for us. This sounds like a fantastic.
I'll tell you right now, like this is the silent labor of love that I have for this entire province. Because when I was in Boston, my very good friend Dean Spinato ran the island-wide Long Island High School League. I think it had like 60 teams or something. Like they're different. Like we have senior. I don't know how we work here. Grade. We go grade 10, 11, 12, 9, 10, 11, 12. They go junior, varsity. All that different. And they had different teams, and it was incredible. And here's the thing. I've got meetings this week with Vincent Massey, Oak Park, Sisler. I've got some stuff. Warren's putting a team in. Kelvin might put a team in. We might only start with 6 teams, and that is perfectly fine. But what people don't understand is that you can get 4-year full-ride college scholarships in the United States for roller hockey. All the big collegiates in the United States, Michigan, Michigan State, Notre Dame, BU, BC, USC, Temple, I just go on and on and on and on and on, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Maine, they all have college roller hockey teams. Now they're intramural, those aren't your big scholarship, but they're going to get there eventually. But they're intramural, but they have their National Collegiate Roller Hockey Championships. They have a league, and they play like Michigan plays Michigan State, and there's all the fanfare. So it's not just let's get a high school league to get the high school league going. Let's get the high school league going so parents and kids have options, because we know that ice hockey is very limited for options. Roller hockey, not only with all the Team Canada stuff you can do, and the high school stuff and the college stuff, but then there's national championships here, down in the States. There's North American championships. You could travel the world. I've traveled the world with this for 20 years. Which is something I never would have been able to do with ice hockey, only because I didn't make it to the highest level. So, and like I said, I never try to take the dreams away from anybody. If your dream's the NHL, we will try to help you get there through roller hockey.
It just sounds like a wonderful alternative to, if you're, especially at the end of the day, if you love hockey, you'll love roller hockey.
Yeah.
Right? And if you can kind of see yourself, as a hockey advocate and someone who wants to have, if you have these dreams, if you want to play at a higher level, it seems like roller hockey just it's a great alternative to ice hockey.
Yeah.
And not only are you building your skills that are applicable to ice hockey,
Yeah.
you're again the traveling. I got a little personal funny story for you.
Absolutely.
I got about this was quite some time ago.
Yeah.
Got into a discussion with some friends. A female friend of mine who's she's a music teacher at the high school in Steinbach.
Let's talk to her about the high school league.
Duly noted.
Right.
And we were talking about sports and programs in college and university.
Right.
Nobody fills a stadium to go watch a choir practice or all these things. And then she looks at me and she goes, "How many years have you been playing hockey, Scotty?" And I said, "Well, my whole life." And she goes, "Where have you traveled?" I said, "World."
Right.
I've been nowhere. I mean, I've just played local hockey and just some local tournaments. She goes, "I have performed with my choir in almost every country in Europe.
Yeah.
I've been to 20 different states. You name it. She's been everywhere multiple times because it is an opportunity that's on a bit of a smaller scale, but it affords you such a global opportunity.
Right.
And it's not in such a highly competitive atmosphere. Not that I know a whole lot about the music industry
But your point, I understand what your point
is that you're in a smaller pool of opportunity as opposed to the ocean of hockey players that we have roaming around this country, right?
Exactly right.
And roller hockey, smaller pool, greater opportunity for some of these international events.
Yeah.
What a great idea.
Well,
man, where were you when I was 19 years old?
Tell me, I was down in the States. But I'll tell you the other thing too. It's not only for the elite athlete. What I love about this sport, and this is, and I do a lot of stuff with MASRC, the Manitoba Aboriginal Sport Recreation Council. I've been their hockey director, instructor. I used to go up north to do the camps. This affords a lot of people who are priced out of ice hockey. This affords people an opportunity to play hockey, and they don't have to be spending, because we don't make ice. So we don't have $300 an hour ice, and you don't have a $3,000 registration fee, and then all this different things you got to get. We are there for the family that's on hard times, and we're there for the families that are in really good times. And we try to blend everybody together, and we try to make it. The big thing too is a sense of community. We try to, through my coaching, mentorship, and the sports that we run, one of the biggest things we try to do is we try to help kids find a better path in life through sport.
Absolutely.
I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it's about. I mean, yes, we run a business. Yes, I mean, we all run a business. We all have to live. But helping kids find a better path in life through sport, and if you can do it inexpensively where they can actually take part now, and the parents don't feel like they have to take a second mortgage out to facilitate this. And oh, by the way, my son's 10 years old, and he's going to try out for Team Canada in April with Coach Mike and Hockey Canada, or with Canada Inline, and your 12-year-old is going to go to Portsmouth Prairie, play $5,000 in the AAA tournament, and he might go play against Finland, Sweden. I mean, the opportunities are there for the regular family and the other families. It's just, it blends everybody together for opportunity. And at the end of the day, that's what it's all about: giving our kids opportunity, getting off Xbox, and helping them find a better way of life through sport.
Now, speaking, good segue here. You're talking about opportunity. Now, tell me. This has got me. I'm excited, and this might be the best way for opportunity. Before anybody wants to commit to a league or a full season, there's an event coming up in May.
Yes.
Tell us about this.
This is the first. We may have had them in the past, but this is the first in a long time Canadian National Roller Hockey Championships, May long weekend in Winnipeg. We have we played at Maginot and the St. James Civic Center this year, which has been, we had a city meeting with the city, and it was phenomenal. So we got those two facilities pretty much all till the end of July and August. And we are inviting all teams from, we expect a high contingency of teams from Winnipeg and from Manitoba. We know Moose Jaw Inline is going to support us with some teams. My buddy Ted Zylstra, who runs the Alberta Roller Hockey, is going to send some teams. Vancouver, we might have some 35 and over teams coming from Ontario. We don't know how big it's going to be, but we know it's going to be the biggest event in Canada for the first national championship that we're going to have. And we have our North American Championship, which Darren Goodwin runs in the States, which is the big North American, and then you have State Wars, which is run by Tim McManus, which we all participate in. But Canada has never had its own national championship, where you can go to school the next day or back to the office and say, I'm a Canadian national champion. Yeah, you're 46. I'm a Canadian national champion, right? So we're going to do that. So we really are trying, and that's why this whole, Eastman and Pembina Valley expansion of what we're doing. And we don't know if we're going to get 10 teams or 100 teams. It doesn't even matter. We just want to start it with 8 and unders and 10 and unders and 12 and unders. And if we have 4 teams in a division, just try it. And then come out to the national championships and be a part. Where else can you do that?
You know what? And it's just, again, I'm a hockey player. I love hockey. Yeah. It's my favorite sport. And I'm gonna try and get my old rollerblades, dust them off, get a team together to play in something like this. This is just, what an opportunity. If you love hockey, how do you say no to something like
What I love about meeting you today, and this is the first time that we met, and I know that we're going to do a lot of stuff together, but what I loved about meeting you today is you played this game 20 years ago. You played it with bad technology, bad wheels,
yes, we did.
Bad flooring.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the puck was like back then 20 years ago, but I can only imagine. And you guys still got together once a week or twice a week, played 3 hours, you loved it, and then winter came and you back to ice because there was nowhere to play. There's a passion that you can see, and when people talk to me and you say, where's my passion come from? This game, this is the love of my life. My wife knows, and she punches me all the time knowing that she's second to this game. She's come to live with it. I'm kidding. But this is the love of my life. And I know what it does to me. It changed my life. Like, it changed my life from being out of hockey to playing on Team Canada for 7 years, coaching in the IIHF, playing in the IIHF, playing in the 05 World Games. That's the games that they picked to go to the Olympics. I played in the World Games in 05 roller hockey for Canada. They had the torch, they had the Olympic flag, and that's where sports like beach volleyball came from, softball. They were there first, the Olympics evaluated them, then they brought them to the Olympics. It's a tryout for the Olympics every 4 years. World Games, the opportunities are sick, and if you're not playing, you really need to start. You will love the game. Parents come to the game in flip-flops. What the heck's wrong with that?
Nothing's wrong with that. No rainouts.
No rainouts. Although we can do it outdoors too.
No mosquitoes.
0 mosquitoes.
Yes, those are.
The rink once in a while gets a little warm, but I'll tell you, the shape you're in after you're done playing is amazing. Us old guys.
Oh yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Well, certain beverages taste better.
Yeah, right.
Any last thoughts? Where can people contact you? How do they get in touch with you? How do they learn more about what you have to offer?
Well, a couple ways. I have a show actually on this network. I actually have, if I can mention it, Glenn, he'll just give me the head. I came onto the Manitoba Sports Network as a sales manager. I'm helping Glenn build this, and so I also show Roller Hockey Today that I try to do twice a week. I think right now it's just Mondays as we're getting closer. And for those that want to see what we're about, you can check out the Game On magazine the next 3 months. We're going to have stories in there. You can check out ccrh.ca. That's our website. And I apologize, it will be better. And all my information's on there. And I also implore you, go on Google or YouTube, and YouTube Team Canada Roller Hockey, Professional Roller Hockey, Sick Roller Hockey Moves, NARCH, Tours, State Wars. Just punch in roller hockey and write the word sick after it, and you'll watch the most incredible moves, and you'll fall in love with it. Just give it a try. You'll save money, it's safe, it's fun, and it'll be the love of your life for the rest of your life. I promise you that. I'll eat this skate on air if anybody comes back and say they'll love it.
Well, that's an expensive.
And I still got the skates. So.
That's an expensive meal.
Well, Chad Siebel at Tour only sent me one, so I got to be very careful with this as a sample. He knows if he gives me the other size 8, I'll be wearing them.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, this has been our revelation.
Thanks,
Mike,
man.
This has been lots of fun.
Thanks
for
I appreciate it.
joining us on our very first.
Thanks for having me as guest number 1. I appreciate it.
Locker Talk It. That's it. Well, punching out. Thanks. Thanks again for joining us.
Thank you.